What's good, YouTube? Arby's Cards here, back with another video. I'm currently sitting in traffic, so I figured let's go ahead and make my video that I wanted to make for today. And that is talking about, and I got this, shout out to Jojo Jake. He mentioned something about eras, the vintage, mid-era, and modern in his, I think it was his last Cards and Coffee episode or the one before that. I don't remember. He talked about it though. And I was like, I think it is time with the 30th anniversary to coming up to talk about what really is vintage. I think that's between vintage and mid-era. I think those two are the two hardest places to cut off. Now, the issue is that I believe Pokemon cards came out in Japan in 96, and we got English 3 years later in 99. So the timelines are a little screwed up for a little bit, just trying to base it on what year do I go off of for that. And for me, for the English, I still think it works out perfect. I'm pretty close to perfect, I think. So for me, I think vintage should be from base set all the way up until the beginning of Diamond and Pearl or the end of the original EX era. I think Diamond and Pearl came out in 07. That covers 8 years, or maybe even late 06. That covers 8 years of the of an era. I think mid-era should be Diamond and Pearl through the end of X and Y, which that's like 2007, 2008. I think to 2017, maybe 2016. And then modern, Sun and Moon to where we're at now. I think, and then as time goes on, as more years get added on, the eras become wider on what is considered modern, mid-era, and vintage. And so whenever I say I'm going after vintage, one of the things I'm starting to look at is OG EX era. That's what I call it. I don't know what the actual term is, but I call it OG EX era is what I call it. And some of the cards from that era they just hit different. That's the era of the gold stars, where in vintage you had a lot of the grails, and people go after them like crazy. The shinings, crystals, gold stars, to name a few. But some of the cards just hit different. You have and if you're wondering why there's a shadows, because the sun's like, I'm like driving into the sun, and I got the flappy thing down. So I'm just trying to protect my eyes from the sun, and I'm not, so I can see. But the Cosmos Holo hits, some of those hit different. Some of the art on those cards were good. You had the Delta Species. You had, well, I don't want to say you had reverse holos, because reverse holos became a thing in e-readers. But that's when you had stamped reverses. And I've been looking on eBay for some of these stamped reverses. Some of them are hard to find in PSA 9s and 10s. There's only a couple on the market. Do I want to say what I was going after or what I was looking at the other day? Nah, I'm not going to say anything. But one of my favorite sets, actually some of my favorite sets of all time were in the OG EX era. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Team Rocket Returns. Delta, like I said, Delta Species was fun. Crystal Guardians had some bangers. Power Keepers. Hidden Legends. Like, there's so many bangers in that era. And they had some of the best chase cards you can go after. So I think now we can start considering the OG EX era vintage. And I'm at a standstill now, so something must be real bad up here. But I just wanted to come on here and talk about it. I think OG EX era should be considered vintage now, especially with how the timelines shake up. And eventually here in a couple years, Diamond and Pearl will be in that category. In about 4 or 5 more years after that, what was that? Platinum? I consider Diamond and Pearl and Platinum all the same thing. Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I think when we get to year 20... Nah, that's going to be a while. That's going to be a minute. 2039, somewhere around there. Black and white might be considered vintage then. I'm just doing quick math. So I think the EX era is something to start looking at when it comes to vintage. The hollows just hit. The OG EXs, some of them have damn good arts. If you haven't seen any of those cards from that era, go look at them, especially the stamped reverses. EX Deoxys has a damn good hollow pattern. Fire Red Leaf Green is the energies, and if it's the rares, it has the Pokeball. Team Rocket Returns, I think, is the energy one. What else has a Unseen Forces has like little Pokeballs in the back. There's another EX era set that does that too. Can't remember. Delta Species is just the plain, it's like a regular holofoil. So it varies, but definitely have some of the best arts and the best sets of all time, in my opinion. So anyways, we're starting to move a little bit more. I'm gonna get off here, try to get to work. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Let me know what you think where vintage should cut off. I think mid-era vintage cuts off at the end of the OG EX era. Mid-era starts at Diamond and Pearl. Mid-era ends at Sun and Moon. Beginning of Sun and Moon. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.